Hey y'all. Today is day 4 of the virtual book launch, and um, I was just sitting here thinking about going live. I was about to do a live broadcast, which I probably am going to do later, but I just wanted to come on for a minute and just share some thoughts of kind of like where I am right now in the process. Um, I've been actually thinking about this for a while, and it's been like throughout this process that I've come to the conclusion that I want to divorce my father. Yeah, like I I want a divorce. I know it's gonna I know this is gonna sound strange. Um because I mean, you would think, right? Okay, he's my father. Obviously, I didn't marry him, so how can I divorce him? Well, that's kind of like what I've been thinking on these. I think it's been like these last few years. I've really been thinking heavily about this because you guys know, right? Um, I have a history. I have been married 4 times, divorced 3. Um, and I have a wonderful, successful, happy, thriving marriage. Um, and see, the thing is that my father always tried to shame me for um, my marriages, my past history. But it always seemed to me that the issues that my father and I had played out mostly in or manifested themselves in my relationships with men, specifically in my marriages, and in my relationships with my kids, with my boys. And even up until the very, last conversation my father and I had, which is what the book is based on, um, he even tried to shame me then, which I mean, it was like my past with my relationships and stuff like that didn't have anything to do with me leaving the church and separating myself from the toxicity that was happening in the church under my father's leadership. Well, um I think I just come to pretty much the realization that um the man that I really needed to divorce, that I really needed to cut ties with, is my father. And that if I can do that, right? Because we've reached a level um, you know, of divide, that is just not going to be um, fixed. It's never going to be put back together. It's just not going to happen. And I really believe um, that this type of relationship and the things that happen within this relationship and the strong stand that I need to make with ending this relationship, with severing ties with my father, can only really be done in this grand gesture of a way, Um, I believe that it's going to take this major declaration, decree, if you will, that this relationship is over. Um, and when you really think about it, I mean, just okay, let's just take this back a little bit, right? You think about the traditional Christian marriage, right? And you think about the vows that you make, for better, for worse, in sickness and health, for richer, for poorer, to death do us part, right? Um, And what we find is that even the divorce rate among Christians is super high, okay? But we're not even really talking about the traditional Christian marriage. What we're talking about here is the vows that people take in a typical Christian marriage. And what you find is that when you are a child of a extremely toxic parent and a manipulative parent, then you end up taking those vows to that parent. It's like you are forever bound to them, like you, for richer, for poor, sickness and health, for better or for worse. And what ends up happening is it's like for better or for worse treatment in sickness and in health, and they're the ones that are making you sick, for richer or for poor. And you find that some of these people have taken on your identity, put credit in your name, and ruined your credit. They have, I mean, it's just like the list goes on of just egregious things that some of these toxic parents do. But because we are their children, the expectation is that you'll always be around, that you'll always take care of them, that you will bury them, that you will handle their affairs once they pass on, that you will handle their affairs when they're still alive, that you will accept whatever type of treatment, the lack of boundaries, the lack of respect. Not even really being respected as an adult, as someone who makes their own decisions. Oftentimes, you have children of your own and grandchildren of your own, and you are still bound to these toxic parents. And I believe that this situation with my father is one that I no longer want to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of him. Now I know that there's no, you know, there's no grand gesture I can make or some great action or whatever that I can do that will actually, make him not my father anymore. I mean, that's done. That is what it is. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I want to free myself of the obligation and the responsibility of being his daughter and all the expectations that come along with that. um I'm through. Like I'm done. I'm over it. I'm ready to like move on, and I want to have continue to have successful relationships with with my children and my husband and with other people. And I feel that my relationship with my father was interfering with that. It was so toxic that it was not healthy for me. It was infecting all my other relationships. And I just feel um, that I want a divorce, that I want to sever ties, divest, opt out, whatever you want to call it. But what I'm choosing to call it is a divorce, is that I'm severing ties and I'm severing all the vows, the unwritten, unspoken vows that I was somehow bound to, um, just because I'm his daughter. And I know it's kind of like, you know, probably a little bit controversial, um, a little bit shocking, probably like all of those things and more. Um, and I know that I have to, put this whole thing together, like put my whole thought process together and explain it to you all where you can really understand like where I'm coming from. But I would say like a good place to start, of course, is in the book, in the Pastor's Daughter book, Provoke, the very first book in the series that talks about that dynamics between my father and I. And it speaks to this strong desire within me to end this relationship, you know? And so that's where I am on this day 4 of virtual book launch. is that I am I am moving forward with divorcing my father. So yeah. Well, that's all I have to say right now. And I guess, I'm just putting my thoughts together, making sense of, where I am and what I want to do throughout this process and how I want to proceed with this divorce. But that's where I am now. I want it over. I want it done. I'm through. Like I want a divorce. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Just, I guess, tuning in for the next one. I love y'all. Bye bye for now.